We've talked about the beginning stages of my meal prep process, which is getting those ideas together, engaging the family, coming up with some healthy ideas for recipes by searching Pinterest, you know, that basic stuff. So now we want to actually put those ideas to paper so we can start working on the meal plan. The first thing that I'm going to do when it comes to putting things on paper is get an idea of what my week looks like. Those of you who know me know that I am obsessed with my planner. This thing is always with me. And what I do is I go to this planner first before I start figuring things out to see what I have coming up for the upcoming week. For example, this week I'm having a team dinner. We're having it at a place called Tom and Chi, which is a really awesome grilled cheese restaurant that's been featured on the Food Network. Nothing healthy is going on there at all. So I knew on my meal plan this week that was going to be my cheat meal because I always build a cheat meal into every single week. But I also knew that I had a board meeting for my running club that I serve on the board of directors for at a restaurant on Wednesday. So I wanted to make sure that my meal plan choices were going to be reflective of the things going on in my life so I wasn't unprepared. That's usually when chaos happens with a meal plan, when you go into something blind and you don't know what to do. Eating out at restaurants is a huge problem for people when it comes to meal plans because you get there and you don't know what you're going to eat and you freeze up and next you know you're eating the cheeseburgers and the fries and you're ordering the brownie sundae and everything else. If you go into the week knowing when you have your cheat meals and also knowing where you're going and what you're doing when it comes to eating out, then you're going to be better prepared. I know which restaurant we're going to on Wednesday for our board meeting, so I can go ahead and look at the menu and find a selection that's going to fit into my meal plan as far as what I want to eat. You might be on the fly. You might not know what you're going to do. We'll talk about that more later. But what I want you to do is to have a solid idea, though, of what you can control. And those would be birthday parties. They would be dinner events, work meetings, things like that. So go into your planner first, write everything down that you've got to work around in a planner. Then I get all old school. I actually draw a grid out. This is mine for this week. As you can see, hot mess. And at the top, I just write down the days and the meals and just start writing down ideas that I'm thinking about. So I knew that this week, like I said, I already have our team dinner built in here. I knew I had a board meeting built in there. I know I'm probably going to my mom's at some point this weekend, and I'm not sure what to eat for dinner there. So I need to work around that when it comes to my nutrition and the other meals. And I like to do a lot of repetition with meals. A lot of people don't like that because they want variety, and that's something that's totally up to you. But studies do show when you're repetitive with what you're eating, you're going to stick to it. You're going to know what to expect, and it's going to help you stay on track. I like everything that I make. Nothing sucks. So when I'm looking at my egg cups for breakfast, I am excited about them because I know I love eating them. And I love the buffalo chicken that I'm making. So I'm not going to be upset if I eat that every single day during the week for 4 days or whatever, but you might want some variety. Feel free to change it up with what your needs are. But start out by just scratching things out like this. Put it to paper. Write down those events. If you do a grid, write down where you have things going on so you could see it visually and plan around there. That always helps me. Once I have that kind of plan going, then I need to figure out what I need to get from the store, right? And I happen to find this cool little pad, which I'll actually scan and upload into the group so you can download it if you want. But I found it at TJ Maxx, which is the best store ever if you've never been there. But it's just a really great market list that I could rip off every single week to make my grocery list. And what I do is I start filling things out that I need. What I do is I write down absolutely everything that I could possibly need for the recipes that I'm going to be making. This here is the grocery list for this current week, the one that we are talking about right now, August 22nd. And as you can see, I've got things written on here that I needed to get for my meal plan. And then I've got some things that are crossed off. And this is why I do that. I write down everything that I need. All of it. I knew that I needed an apple for the banana apple muffins I was making, but I actually ended up having an apple, so I crossed that off. So what I do is after I write down everything that I need onto this grocery list, then I'm going to cross off the things that I have when I review my pantry items. Now, we talked about pantry yesterday. It's really important to use what you have so you're not being wasteful. And a lot of times you're going to have some of this stuff. When it comes to rice and black beans and baking soda, pretty much everybody has those in the pantry. Those are pretty standard items. So it's nice to cross those things off and know I'm saving money, but also using something that's taking up space as well. I make a list for every grocery store experience that I have. You've got to have a list. If you're not working from a list, you're going to be tempted to grab the Cheetos and anything else and just think that you need it. Have a list. Don't deviate from it. This particular week, all that I did was I deviated one thing off of there. And that's only because when I went grocery shopping, my stomach didn't feel well and I wanted some saltine crackers just in case I got sick later on. That was the only thing I got that was not on this list. Have a list and stick to it. One thing that just helps me so much is once I have, done the little chicken scratch thing on the paper like I already showed you in my grocery list, I make a hard copy of the actual meal plan so I have it handy to reference. I stick it on the side of my refrigerator. I highlight when I eat the meal that's on there. I know I'm crazy, but I like to see what it is and it helps me stay on track. You might not want to use a hard paper copy of a meal planner. It's totally up to you what you want to use. There's great apps out there like MyFitnessPal, and there's some different 21-day fix ones. But for me, this hard copy is where it's at. And this is what I've been doing since the beginning. And as you look at this, I'm trying to get it really close so you can see it. It has everything from breakfast, lunch, dinner. I've got my snacks down below so I can see what I'm eating where. That is what you need to do, guys. The basics of meal planning is having that plan in place. You've probably heard this before from me, but if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And if you don't have a plan set in place, this is a plan right here. This is a plan. This is a plan. Then you're going to end up failing when it comes to your meal plan. You've got to have an idea of what you're going to be doing. So write it down. And you know what? If you don't like how this system works, if you don't like to have to print out a grid or a meal planner, do it old school. Write it paper and pen. Maybe this is good enough for you, this chicken scratch version. Whatever works. Like I told you the very first day, you've got to have a plan that you like. You got to be connected to it so that that way you don't hate it, and you're going to stick to it and make it successful. I'm going to post below this video the actual copy of my meal plan. That way you can go ahead and see what all I'm eating this week. And then what I want you to do for your assignment for today. Pinterest, whatever you want to do, some different meal planners. And I want you to share a photo of the one that you're going to select to use below. I want you to find one that you like, guys. There's so many. Just Google search meal planners, downloadable meal planners, whatever you put in there, you're going to find something that works for you. Post it below the group, guys.